All right, welcome everybody. It's great to see all of your shining faces, both in person and static faces as your backgrounds. Uh, my name is Angela Pancella. I'm here on behalf of the U2 conference, here with Garden Tart Hillary and Garden Tart Jenny. As their names imply, this is our Garden Tart podcast session, which means that if you are here, be well aware that this is going to become a Garden Tart podcast. So the video and audio is being put to use both in U2 conference land and in podcast land. So you are all about to be famous. Hillary,
almost.
Yes, almost famous. Yes.
Almost famous.
Ish.
We try. Hillary and Jenny, they have been bestest friends for almost 30 years. Their favorite thing to do, as a matter of fact, I wonder if something about that 30-year time span has something to do with the subject at hand, but that remains to be seen. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Their favorite thing to do is to talk U2. So they decided to start a podcast, Kissing Lips and Breaking Hearts with the Garden Tarts. You can hang out with them weekly as they talk about albums, tours, and various U2 related adventures, among other things. We're so glad to have them live today for the U2 conference. Take it away.
Thank you, Angela.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for being here to help us along.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Hillary. Fancy seeing you here.
I know. What are the odds?
Always.
Where are you? I like your...
I'm in this little place called Hansa Studio in Berlin.
As am I.
Oh, what a coincidence.
No, there you are.
Our pretty little logo. Awesome. Well, real quick, we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Jenny. And Hillary, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. Hillary's in
Hampton Roads, Virginia.
Yep. And we are so excited that you're coming to join us. More people are coming in. That's awesome. First, some little fun facts. Just so you know, for this next hour and all eternity, we embrace inclusion, irreverence, and cursing. Everything's on the table. All our episodes are marked explicit. Bring it on. If you want to learn more about us, you can go to thegardentarts.com for more info. And you can also find our U2-ish podcast on your favorite podcast streaming platform and on the social medias. So come see us.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Here's how this is going to work today. We have several quick fire questions and several long form questions. After each round of questions, we're going to do a shot. So it's in our best interest to get through as many questions as we can before our hour is up.
Yeah. And feel free to show your faces if you can, if you feel comfortable. We kind of want this to be the pub session of the conference. So yeah. Come on, no matter what you're drinking, whether you got your water or our special Achtung baby Guinness, or your other beverage of choice.
Do you have your beverage already, Jenny?
I gotta pour one. Should we demonstrate this?
Yeah.
So a baby Guinness is basically a shot that is mostly Kahlua topped off with Baileys. Now, if you're a trained bartender and you pour the Baileys like over a spoon, it sits really nicely on top of the Kahlua and looks like a Guinness. I don't do that. I don't know, 80-20.
And I have misplaced my Garden Tarts shot glass. So I have my I&E little cup.
Oh, that's smart.
That I'm using as my little shot glass for the night.
And of course, alcohol is never mandatory. We just enjoy it in the podcasting setting. So
you do you.
You do you. Well, should we start? We can start with our quick fire round. First one.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll start with that while you're drinking, while you're preparing your drink.
Okay.
Okay. In 5 parts, give your name, location, favorite song off of Achtung Baby, least favorite song, and tell us what you're drinking, albeit water, alcohol, whatever your favorite
I'm
drink
putting
is
this
right
in
now.
the chat. I'm putting these 5 things in the chat so we'll have it. Also, we should note that your least favorite song on Octum Baby may still be one of the greatest songs of all time.
Oh, they're all the greatest songs. You just have
We're
to
not
pick.
saying you don't like it.
We're making you pick one today.
Yeah, and if you don't want to say it, that's fine. Do you want to go first, Hillary?
I can go first.
Okay, we'll go first and then they can follow.
Okay, so I'm Hillary. Like I said, I'm in Hampton Roads, Virginia. My favorite song is The Fly, and my least favorite song is Even Better Than the Real Thing. Is that a shock to you, Jenny?
No.
No.
I mean, I might have thought you said something else, but it's 50-50.
Yeah, and I'm drinking an Achtung Baby Guinness shot.
See, mine's all blended. It's a little ruby.
Mine's blended too.
So I'll go, and then y'all just chime in, and whoever's screen lights up is who's talking, okay? I'm Jenny. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. My favorite song on Octum Baby today is So Cruel, and my least favorite song today and most days is Mysterious Ways, and I'm also drinking an Octum Baby Guinness. Mart, you're not going to talk? Are you at work? Mart is from Dublin. Acrobat's his favorite. One is his least favorite. And all the pints he is drinking.
So, Gerda, your favorite is so Cruel, and your favorite is The Fly?
That's my guess.
Yeah.
Mart.
It works for everybody.
And she's drinking cola. Perfect. Anyone else want to chime in?
My name is Megan Click. I'm from Sioux City, Iowa. My favorite song is Acrobat. My least favorite is Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses, and I'm drinking cold brew coffee.
Oh,
Sweet.
nice to meet you, Megan.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I've followed you guys for probably about a year now. It's really been fun listening to you.
Oh,
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Anyone else?
Hello, ladies.
Hey, Sherry.
I'm Sherry. I'm from originally the Boston area. Now I'm outside of Philly. My favorite is The Fly. My least favorite is One. I'm drinking out of one of your cups. Some diet coffee because somebody's got to be the designated driver tonight. So cheers to everybody.
Thank you.
Cheers. Sherry hosted our session last year, which we were very grateful for.
Well, thank you. You guys were awesome. So thanks again for coming on again.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Sherry.
Hey, I'm
Natalie,
Natalie.
you ready?
Yeah,
Hi, Natalie.
I'm Natalie. Hi.
Hi.
I'm outside of Toledo, Ohio.
Ohio!
Yeah. What were the questions? Oh, my favorite song is Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses? Least favorite is So Cruel, and I'm not drinking anything, but I will be. I just have
Yay.
to go downstairs.
Fair, fair.
Very nice to meet you.
Yes. Hey, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hey everybody, I'm Jennifer, go by Jen, and I'm in Northern Virginia. Yay!
Woo! Virginia!
Although boo after November.
I know.
No, boo. I mean, not boo, but
We're so pretty and blue, and now we're red and
we're
gross.
just, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in denial.
I am too, but you know what? Northern Virginia and Hampton Roads held their own.
Yeah, we do live in a little bubble here. And sometimes I get out of the bubble and I'm like, ooh, can I get back in my bubble?
Agreed. I'm in the little bubble too.
Yeah, I've got a good friend in Virginia Beach, so I'm down your way sometimes.
Yeah.
Hit
me up sometime and we'll get a drink.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. Yes, I started listening to your podcast a couple of months ago, right? And I was frantically pruning things in the gardens. Oh, and it was just like a great, just kind of a great memory. So whenever I'm pruning things now, I put the podcast on. So I don't know what that means, but there it is. I know. Um,
You're in the garden, you're playing the tart.
right.
Yeah, it works.
I know, all by myself. So I gotta go with Acrobat for the favorite. There's just so much there, and it's an emotional roller coaster. And least favorite, I don't know. Love is Blindness when I'm not in the mood for it. It's just kind of like fingernails on the chalkboard. When I am in the mood for it, Love is Blindness. Yeah,
Fair.
right.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking hot apple cider. Yay!
Ooh,
Yum.
lovely.
Seasonal beverage.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks for hosting us.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Anyone else want to chime in? No obligation.
I can.
Okay.
I will introduce myself again because I did not mention my location. Angela, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. My most favorite, that's a really hard pick, but I have to rescue Mysterious Ways' reputation from you. And my least favorite, probably Trying to Throw Your Arms Around the World. And what I'm drinking seltzer, but more specifically, I'm drinking it out of an Innocence cup that was gifted to me by our very own Sherry Lawrence.
I've got one too. It's got my water in it.
I don't have mine with me, but I have this nice little
Yeah, you
$20
got
cocktail cup.
Oh, nice. And for those just joining, we are asking name, location, most favorite, least favorite song on Achtung Baby, and what you're drinking. Feel free to unmute to respond or leave your comments in the chat.
Angela, someone has raised their hand. Do we?
That is David. David,
David.
you may speak.
You want to step in? There
I
you
do.
are.
Hey.
Good.
So my name's David. I am from Chappaqua, New York. Happily a blue city and state.
Very blue city, huh?
Yeah, it is a very blue city.
Yeah.
There's another Hillary, a famous Hillary.
That's where I'm going with
That's a
that.
neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite song, that's really tough.
Just whatever comes to your gut first. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say The Fly just because it was the song that came that was obviously the first single, and it basically knocked me for a loop, and so it set me on the trajectory that like the band did, and so because I was an old school U2 fan before that, and I needed a kick in the ass, so to speak.
Yeah.
Least favorite would be Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses. It's I'll just leave it at that. And that's it for me.
Right.
Love you guys.
Oh, we love you too.
Love you too, David.
Crystal just chimed in the chat. She's from Rhode Island, but she's unpacking groceries, so she's listening in. Her favorite is Acrobat, and she's about to make a gin and tonic. Bring it on. Yeah. I would also like to just mention that looks like she's remaining quiet, but Mary Cipriani is also from Northeast Ohio.
Hi.
Hello. We got a lot of Ohioans here.
Yeah, Jenny and I are in the competition for who's the biggest U2 fan in Cleveland. So
I'm happy to grant that to you, Mary.
And you've got a Pittsburgher close by right here.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, hey.
I was not planning on being on camera, so I'm simply just sitting on my couch after errands all day, but I had to chime in because I haven't met Hillary or Jenny before. So hello, ladies. Nice to meet you. Hi. Okay, so I'm from Pittsburgh. On Twitter, I'm hiding in the Berg for people who might know me that way because I don't use my real name an awful lot.
Yep, I recognize your face, yeah.
Yeah. Favorite is The Fly. Least favorite, Love is Blindness. And I'm drinking Diet Coke because I still have an evening to go and I need to stay fairly awake. So
Fair.
I'm going to sit back and enjoy the talk. But it's great seeing you guys.
You too.
So, aside from Dublin, our favorite place to see you too is Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's first off,
every time.
Beautiful city, easy to get around, great places to stay. And a great fan base, and we're not
We do really
inordinately
well in
expensive.
Pittsburgh.
Pardon?
We do really well in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Those shows are magical. There's something about that city.
Yeah.
It's just, we've got great venues right on the water. We're easy to get to. I'm a native Californian. That's where I'm from originally. And I absolutely love Pittsburgh. I'm so happy here. So, and I
Awesome.
live with Gardener Bob, who's also my baker and my houseboy. So yeah, it's really happy here. Enjoy the
Bob.
conference. He's somewhere behind me right now. He's going to walk on camera in a minute. But yeah, I enjoy the conferences. We've been to all of them that we could. The only one we didn't go to was Australia. But these are great. I met Angela there, met Scott, met so many other people there. Met David. David, you were the one that sold me or gave me your bus ticket to go to the Raleigh concert for that first conference. So you guys are a great group. Good to be here.
Thanks for being here.
Great, yeah.
There's Mart.
You're not at work anymore, Mart?
He's on mute.
You're muted. It's all good. Okay.
How you doing?
Hey.
Hey, hello, Mart. Nice to meet you.
Hey, how you? Hey, great to be here. No, I'm literally just through the door from work, so just Dublin Acrobat 1, Dublin Pints, all of them. Does that answer all the questions?
Sure.
It does. It does. Avril just messaged in. I actually was chatting with her earlier today. She is homesick, so she wants to. That is my cat rolling a marble across the floor. I'm sorry if you hear that. She's just listening because she doesn't feel so great. What she says, her favorite song. Oh man, I narrowed it down to 4 the other day, but I guess I'll say Acrobat. And she's also in Ireland, so.
Feel better,
Bonnie,
Avril.
I know you love Ohio, but we gotta move on. Does anyone else want to chime in?
Then it's time for us.
Time. Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Sláinte,
Sláinte.
if you're choosing. Okay. Long form question, but at the same time, we got a little time crunch here, right?
Yeah.
And this is so pertinent, as you'll understand. Is there a song on Achtung Baby that has saved and or changed your life?
I can start that.
Yeah, we can start.
I would have to say, I mean, all of them, but I really would have to say one, because I just had this moment. I think it was the first anniversary of 9/11, and I had a new job, and they had a moment of silence on the radio, and I was with my new coworker, and after the moment of silence, they went into one, and it just kind of shook me. Like, I felt like this is my song and my moment, like the whole world is sharing this moment with me. And I don't know, it just kind of changed me. Like, I just decided at that moment just to change. Like, I chopped my hair off, I lost weight, I got new friends, I started going to the gym. It was just like one day, just all of a sudden, it just kind of hit me. And I kind of think about that when I think about one a lot of the time. It just a meaningful thing. So I guess it kind of changed my life a little bit. Just that one time listening to it. It's not my favorite song, beautiful, but not my favorite song. But I did have a moment with one in 2002. How about you, Jenny?
Well, I'm gonna give 2 really short answers because I feel like they can't, one of them can't be denied. One is the big one because that's the song that a friend told me to listen to when the album came out. I had not I heard U2 on the radio, but I'd never purchased an album before. So them telling me to buy the album to listen to one was just changed the entire trajectory of my life. Would not be here, would not know Hillary, none of these things. But the other thing is that I went to college to be a personal trainer, to be a trainer for athletes, athletic trainer, there we go. And I took an elective for creative writing. I have no idea why. I did not enjoy writing. But I did this short story that I was very honest and open about this, no cheating, that used the lyrics to So Cruel and some of the story that I interpreted behind Mystery Girl to create this story with like some of the speaking parts were lines from So Cruel, and like my teacher went batshit. He's like, I don't care where you find your muse, you need to keep writing. And I did. I became an English major with a focus in creative writing. Now I'm a personal trainer 25 years later, but it completely changed my trajectory there. I had no idea.
The song that changed my life recently actually was Acrobat. I've always loved the song, don't get me wrong, but when they performed it, I remember it was during the pandemic, when we were kind of stuck in our house, and I was kind of really connecting to all the YouTube videos. And I remember watching the Berlin show. And at the time, I had kind of gone through a really, really awful struggle spiritually. I had left the Catholic Church. I wasn't even sure I wanted to remain in any church. And for some reason, it was almost cathartic. I found myself deeply connected to Acrobat. I just written the night before this super dark, almost nihilistic writing that I'd read my husband about how I was feeling about my faith and life in general. And I had this, like, I danced like a mad woman. It was almost, if someone saw me, they would have thought I was crazy. I was spinning, I was whirling, I was crying. And I just remember so much release from that moment, singing along to Acrobat, Bono singing it as Mephisto, me seeing my darkness and being able to actually conceptualize it and wrestle. And I really could say that things were different after that moment. I felt so much lighter and I felt so much more at peace after letting myself, really losing myself in that performance. So Acrobat is my favorite song. It kind of was before, but it is really now because of that moment.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. I have chills. That's amazing.
Absolutely chills. And you know, I always say the boys show up in the strangest ways when you least expect it and you need them the most. You don't know it till it happens. So thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I could use a moment like that. I gotta figure out how to get in that. Maybe I'll listen to Acrobat. Just a moment. Maybe I'll listen to Acrobat. I'll give it a whirl when we're done with this tonight.
Yeah.
It is a favorite of so many of ours, I've noticed.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely. And live.
Had that as favorite, even though it was never a radio single. It was hardly played live except for 2018. Right. And yet it was on the top of so many of our list, which I find interesting. A song that barely has been played live.
It's powerful. It's a powerful song, even just on the record. So who's that?
Anyone else?
You coming, Jen?
A song on Achtung Baby that saved or changed your life?
I can say something.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be as meaningful as what everybody else said. But I thought, I guess after college, because this came out, I was a junior in college, and took a senior trip to Europe to visit my aunt who's living in the Netherlands. And I thought, I'll just go to Zoo Station. That's what I'll do. So got on a train and went to Berlin, and just, again, all by myself, was like, I'm in Zoo Station taking pictures. Before we had phones to take pictures and selfies and stuff. But then I thought, I could just do this for all the U2 songs. I'll just go to all the places and take pictures and just be in my own little happiness of being in the U2 bubble. And I guess previously I had gone to, we'd gone rock climbing in Joshua Tree. I'm also from California. I forget who said they were from California. And we had gone rock climbing in Joshua Tree that year that Joshua Tree was released, and we camped out under the stars and we played Joshua Tree. And I mean, I don't really know if it means anything. It's just such a comforting place. It's a warm place to be. And so, yeah, trying to throw my arms around the world and travel around and see things and do that.
My cat. It's totally meaningful, Jennifer. First of all, I've been to Joshua. Sorry about my cat. First of all, when they say that the national park system here in America, it was the greatest idea we ever had. I'm a national park junkie, and to experience the land as it is supposed to be and to be able to sleep on it and under those skies is life-changing. And to be able to tie that to a band and music you're so passionate about feels pretty life-changing to me. And I love that you're traveling to cities. That's amazing, and places. That's so cool. It's really cool.
Is Hillary talking?
She's talking to someone in her house. It's oh no, you're muted. You're okay.
Okay, no. Okay, so this is a very telling thing though. That's totally off topic, and I hate to embarrass anyone, but I am a massive fan of Jeopardy. It is so nice to meet you, Verlinda. I totally knew who you were the second you popped on the screen. Like,
are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Jeopardy champ.
Oh my God. I'm freaking out right now. Like I am obsessed with Jeopardy, and like anyone that's been on Jeopardy, at least in the past, I don't know, 10 years, I know you.
Well, you know what really freaks me out is here in Memphis, after the show had aired, and I was walking to Kroger, our grocery store, shorts, a t-shirt, a mask, you know, you wouldn't have known me, and somebody that yelled across the parking lot, "It's the Jeopardy lady!" I'm like, how do you freaking know that?
Oh my gosh, like Jeopardy in my house is like the most sacred thing. Like that's, oh my God. So nice to meet you. I cannot wait to tell my parents.
It's the same for me. I grew up with it, and when I saw that a Facebook friend we Linda was, I was like, wow, I'm friends with someone on Jeopardy.
I know, right? Right? Oh my gosh, I really can't wait to tell my parents. I'm sorry to totally take this off, but so nice to meet you, Verlinda.
Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. I may be a Jeopardy champ, but I can't unmute. Thank you.
Hey, we all got a little something here, something there.
Anderson Cooper.
Yes, John. I think we should ignore him. And I mean that with love. I wasn't even sure if he was serious about the question to begin with.
I have an Achtung baby story for y'all.
Okay, get back on track. I'm sorry. I had to.
This is the whole point of this, though, right?
Right. This is what we do. We can't stay on topic very long.
This is one of my favorite U2 stories, but I've never gotten to say it on a U2 podcast, so I gotta say it here. I got my friend Stephanie into U2 through Zoot TV, through Mysterious Ways, and she not only fell for U2, but she fell for belly dancing. So when U2 announced their Elevation tour, she and I signed up for belly dancing lessons. And we said it was, you know, just in case Bono wants to pull you up on stage to dance for Mysterious Ways. And so just in case Bono wanted to pull her up on stage, we choreographed a routine. And just in case he wanted to pull her up on stage, we got there super early for the Chicago show. She dressed in a belly dancing outfit. I had a sign that said she can belly dance, which she thought was overkill because she was in a belly dancing outfit. And yeah, Bono decided to pull her up on stage.
I was like, this has to go there.
It was in Chicago, May 12th. 2001. She was her very first U2 show, and it was so incredible. We were on such a high afterward at work. Somebody said to me, when you decide to do something, that's kind of wild that things happen. So it was very funny because the reviewer of the show, because she danced, and then there was a performance. They pulled up this guy to play piano for Stay, which was just the most gorgeous thing
Oh my God.
imaginable. And the reviewer the next day thought that they were we were plants in the audience. You know, it was just too perfect. These two performances, they said they thought it was all staged, and I was like, oh yeah, Crystal, yeah, Crystal was at that show. It was an awesome show. But yeah, I wanted to say to that reviewer, well, it was planned, but not by you two.
You weren't at that show, Hillary, were you?
No, I
was
didn't go
in
to
there.
in Chicago for for Elevation.
I was there in May earlier.
Yeah.
Note to self, learn to belly dance. You got it, eh? Crystal was at that Chicago show. Sweet.
Crystal is the first U2 fan I ever met in person.
Oh, that's fun. I love that. I can't wait till we all get together in person again.
Can't wait.
Would anyone else like to share?
Quick chiming in on the Chicago show story. That was my third U2 show ever. My first two had been in Montreal in May. That was the year that I got into U2. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Chicago, we're talking 2005, right?
No, 2001.
Okay, so that 2001 is when I got my years mixed up. 2001 is when I became a fan. My sister took me to Montreal, and we went to two shows. I was at, I'll still tell my story. I went to a Chicago show in 2005 for them. I was standing in the grocery store shopping. My sister in San Francisco called me and said, do you want to go see the U2 show in Chicago? My friend has a ticket. Southwest had just started to fly between Pittsburgh and Chicago for $59, $49 round one way. I basically dropped everything within like 48 hours, was on a plane, went to the show, stayed the night, and came home the next day and worked that afternoon. And it was awesome. It was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. I've done it since then more than once. I've driven to Chicago now for a show and turned right around and come back home. I've done that for New York. I've done that for, I think Nashville, I did that. I met a couple of people there in Nashville. So the things we do for our band, you know, it's Chicago holds a special place in my heart.
That's awesome.
We both went to shows in Chicago in 2005, not together. We missed each other by a show, I think. Jenny and I. Yeah.
Yeah, we they were back to back. No, not the same night. Yeah.
Anyone else have a song from Achtung Baby that saved or changed your life?
I have a fun story about Achtung Baby, not necessarily a save your life, but my fun memory of the album coming out. For those of you who don't know, I've been an alumni volunteer DJ at my university here in Cleveland for many years. I DJ'd when I was in college back in long time ago, and still volunteer to this day. And so, you know, when a big album release comes out, you know, there's always a competition amongst radio stations, you know, who's going to get the exclusive, who's going to be the first to get to play that release. So I had a connection who had gotten an early advance copy for review, and a friend of a friend made a copy and slipped it to me. And I'm not going to say any more details than that because I'm still paranoid about them breaking their NDA. But I got the copy. I'm driving in the car back to the station, and I'm on the phone with my fellow DJ, Sue Sendes. I'm like, Sue, I'm coming up to the station. I've got the new U2. And went up to the station, and now we had not previewed it. I had not listened to it. We literally dropped it on the air at the moment that I showed up with it. Well, of course, the first song on the album being Zoo Station with all this distortion. And I thought, oh my God, they've given me a corrupted file, like this. I was thinking I had a bad version of the album because it was a copy of a copy and it was a cassette, it wasn't all digital. And so we're airing it, and like we're like staring at the at the meters are pegging, and we're like, okay, is it a bad record? Do I stop it because I've got a bad version? Or, oh, wait a minute, it really is, it's supposed to be distorted. And it was such a hard thing for us to figure out, like, am I going to keep playing this song or do I stop it? But we ended up playing the whole first side, and we got to be the first station to premiere the album.
I love that, Mary. I love that you did that. I did dismantle my entire stereo and speaker system. Literally, I have speakers on top of bookshelves. There is obviously a bad connection somewhere. A wire had gotten loose.
Yeah,
like no joke. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I was.
Yeah, well, like exactly. Yeah. You're thinking, what's wrong with my stereo? Why is it sounding like this?
Yeah.
So yeah, they got me good on that one.
Nice. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to share, or else we have another quick fire round?
You need a shot first.
Oh, we're cutting this one off. Leave us a message. Slancha.
Slancha.
Achtung, baby. That's what we say. Achtung, baby.
Baby. Okay. So our next quick fire, just quick fire because we got more shots to do. Where were you in your life when you first heard Achtung Baby? I was a senior in high school. I don't think I need to say anything else, but that's where you want to be when a big album like that comes out.
I was a sophomore in high school, and I was literally sitting at my desk in my bedroom getting ready to do homework.
Anyone else?
Come on.
Sophomore in high school, and I was listening to my brother's copy. He was a member of one of those fan clubs where you get the free CDs, and then they send you stuff, and he forgot to send that one back. Yeah. So it became mine.
31 years old. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Go on, Eileen.
I just started drama school, so it was a great album to start drama school with.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of noise.
The year that my sister took me to my first U2 concert, I was 31 years old. She would have been 28. She was a longtime fan. I know that's when I heard Achtung Baby for the first time, because after we went to the shows, I went out and bought all the albums. I was so clueless as to who U2 was before I met her in Montreal. She had to I said, I'll go to the show with you. This is great. We'd never traveled before together. We weren't particularly close at the time. I said, you have to send me a mixtape. I didn't effing know who they were. I didn't know the song. So I'm hearing the songs, and there's like, oh, okay, a lot of the stuff is familiar. Okay, I've heard this song before. That's theirs? Desire knocked me off my seat. It was crazy. After the show was over, I asked Elise, I said, what was the song about the gold ring? And that was All I Want Is You. I'd never heard that. But getting back to Achtung Baby, I mean, I went out and bought everything then. So that's when I first heard it.
Very cool.
I was a freshman in college. Achtung Baby was one of the albums. I bought them by how I found them, except for Pop and War, which I bought immediately after seeing Pop Mart. I picked up the rest of the albums kind of when I found them in a used music store. So I remember finding October Next, because I found it on tape for about $2. And then I think I found Zeropa. And then I found a $5 version of Achtung Baby used. So I was a very poor freshman in college, and I got the whole collection, tape or CD, based on what I could find at that time at the store. I think I got all the albums by, I think, spring of my freshman year.
Nice.
I have been married, y'all are making me feel really old. I've been married 12 years when this came out, and it was the next step in exposing my husband, Daryl, to my favorite band. I said, just listen and just listen. And because he was a classical music guy, so, but he did it. He listened, and he actually went with me to a show. So, woo!
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, Jen.
I was in my I remember this very clearly. I was in my 1992 Toyota Corolla driving back from work, and The Fly came on, and I had some kind of reaction, like, oh, like you're shaking. Is this you too? Is this you too? That sounds like Bono, but that doesn't sound like you too. I had to pull over because it's dangerous to drive in that situation, and got home, and I was like, what? Because I mean, it's how do you follow up with that? I mean, how do you hear it again if you don't have the single, if you don't own the physical? You know, it's 1991. So, and then trying to tell my boyfriend, like, oh, this, and he's like, oh, that's not you too. That doesn't sound right. Because I was describing the song, and you know, that's where I was in my little on the side of the road listening to The Fly.
My goodness.
Yeah,
Good
those are
times.
not safe driving conditions.
No. And then not be able to follow it up with a re-listen, that
No.
feels very traumatic.
And I guess going and finding the album, buying it and whatever, and then, you know, getting to the song. This is the song. I told you it was on here.
I don't know if Sherry's on, but I think my story is the same as Sherry's, that it was 120 minutes on MTV, that there was a big premiere for The Fly. And I stayed up, you know, basically, I tended to watch 120 minutes anyway, but I think it was only 1 hour, the 1 a.m. Segment, so they already played an hour. And I remember watching it and thinking that the band had gone mad. I definitely, you know, heard, you know, some Manchester aspect to it, the noise, and, you know, but I think visually, I think I was more struck even than musically, just because of the stark black and white video. And but it ended up, you know, it was life-saving in that respect of a record. Just took a little bit of time to get to it.
I appear to have been summoned. Thanks, David.
Yeah.
I'm outside helping my husband put up friggin' Christmas lights. Actually, my story's a little bit different, because being a member of the propaganda community back in the day, and I had about 100 different pen pals on the Grapevine. I basically spent all of my supermarket earnings as I worked as a cashier on postage, sending stuff to people all around the world. And suddenly, it was the middle of summer before the album came out, package mysteriously arrived in my mailbox. Didn't say who it was from, which was weird because it had international stuff on it, but it was the stolen tapes. I actually had 3 cassettes of all of the stuff that had gotten stolen from the studio. I'm like, I hope these aren't originals, because I didn't do it. As I'm in the middle of my little nook in Connecticut, where I lived at the time. So I kind of had a little preview of what it was sounding like. I'm like, holy crap, this thing is awesome. So it made me curious to see what was going to end up making it onto the final record. So by that point, I was a freshman in college, the day that the album came out, I had a midterm in my music appreciation class where I needed to know, Debussy and Eine kleine Nachtmusik and all that other stuff. And all I was listening to was Achtung Baby. Our record store opened up the early that morning on campus. So I got up, I walked 30 minutes across campus, picked up the cassette because that's all I could afford. And that's all I listened to up until my midterm. So as I'm trying to decipher if I'm listening to Debussy or not, all I'm thinking of, who's going to ride your wild horses? Who's going to answer Claude Debussy? And that's how I hear the lyric ever since November of 1991. It's not Deep Blue Sea, it's Debussy. But, that was just an album. I can't think of any other album other than Zooropa that I have such a vivid memory of. Knowing where I was, what I was wearing, the scent in the air, everything. It's just one of those memories that I hope will never leave. So thanks, David.
I was just going to say that those tapes, I remember also getting those tapes actually at a record show before the record actually came out. And I thought it was fascinating, but it still didn't really prepare me for, I think, the record itself or for The Fly, because The Fly was so much more produced than what was on the Achtung Baby tapes. And I also remember feeling, now I of course would geek out over pre-releases like that, but at the time I remember thinking slightly guilty listening to it, and also thinking, slightly dirty, I guess, like this is, this isn't really, assuming that these are real, this isn't really the song. Now of course I wish I had those for every possible record. But yeah, that was my first introduction to you to Achtung Baby were those tapes. But
so I know Crystal had her hand raised. If you still want to go, but I'm going to read a comment from Avril real quick since she is just chatting with us tonight. She says, I wasn't born when Achtung Baby was released, so it's kind of weird. I mean, I can't pinpoint one time because I would just hear the songs from the album randomly from just my mom playing bits in the car or in the house, and then from my own curiosity looking songs up myself online. But I couldn't say what my first experience was with the whole album, although it was one of those things. As I found each song from the album, I needed more and more. It was like a drug. The sound was something I couldn't get enough of. I love that. I think that's a sentiment I can get behind. Sure. Crystal, did you want to go?
Yeah. So when I first heard The Fly, I was at work. The TV was on MTV in the background, so I just wasn't paying attention. And I heard this weird noise, and I was like, "That sounds kind of interesting. Who is that?" And I watched for seemed like a couple of minutes before I realized it was U2. I knew they were working on something, but I didn't, know any details. And I was like, "Oh my God!" But it was cool.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that. Well, we have about 10 minutes left. Is that right, Angela? Okay.
Okay.
So you're doing a drink and then move on to another quick fire?
Yeah. Let's make the second let's make the last long form question into a quick fire. Just give us a sentence.
Oh yeah, but it's got to be some of them are going to be funny out of context.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yes. Okay, ready? We're moving on to a question. If you have a drink, take a drink.
Yeah.
Oh, drink. Sorry.
Such an effort. And I know how much that meant to you. No, it'll be okay.
Johnny, Gino, you're unmuted.
I know. Sorry about that, Darren. I'll come back to you towards the end of this, and I'm just interested to see you doing your BB Gimses. That's because this
okay. I see what you're here for.
Because it's the best part of the night. I'll come back afterwards, okay? Thank you.
Priorities. I get it. Okay. Our last long form that we're now turning in to quick fire. 1-2 sentences at the most. Even though we all adore Achtung Baby, it seems there's some aspect that makes a lot of us uncomfortable. Do you have one? Go ahead, Hillary.
I have two. One is just generally the religiousness. And I mean, I know that's a lot to say, given the, you too, but I'm Jewish. And I have a hard time, and I'm not that religious. I have a hard time getting the religious aspect of it. That said, it's all good stories, it's all good lyrics, so I'm okay with that. My other thing is that Jenny and I have long, if you listen to us, we refer to, we know each other because we have a mutual uncle. And that uncle is Bono, we say. So I don't want to hear him talk about sex. That's it. I don't want to hear
it about your uncle. Do you have an uncle? Would you want to hear them talk about
No.
So I don't want to hear my Uncle Greg talk about sex.
I don't want to hear your Uncle Greg talk about it either.
I don't want to hear the garden tarts talk about sex. Let's be honest.
It's fine. Fair, Mart. Fair.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't talk about it much.
No, every episode.
No, That's a little exaggeration. Okay, and then I'll answer mine. Mine is hands down the religion. And it's not, I mean, I'm an English major. I get the references. I get all like that. Like, I love that so many of those stories can be turned into poetry and are symbolic, but digging into it, I like shut off. So like there's been some discussions here in the U2 conference. I'm like, oh, I should listen. Maybe I'll learn something. I like can't. Like my brain goes, no. Can't hear about the religion. It's too much for me. Makes me uncomfortable. So I went with a religious band as my life source.
That said, obviously, we review all the albums and talk about the religiousness in depth, but we're kind of, fish out of water when it comes.
We talk about it like poetically, not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, anyone else?
You're not a fish out of water. I'm
Hey.
an ex-Baptist, and it makes me slightly uncomfortable. But because I grew up going to church, I learned how to ignore it really early. So I just ignore it.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm actually the opposite. I struggle with the relationship aspects of Achtung Baby. I can only get in there through the spiritual and religion. I've had plenty of betrayal from family, but I've never had a romantic relationship that I could really connect to Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses. And so when it gets too much about sex and I can't find the spiritual, I struggle with it. That's probably why it's my least favorite song.
See, there's something for everyone. I love it. I love it.
I struggle with the whole thing that people look at it as not four fellas playing rock and roll music and try and delve a bit deeper, and find meanings that aren't about guitars, bass, drums, and a vocal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes we forget that there's instruments. We're aware of that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. We don't mean to.
I guess I think all of this reminds me of how many different levels people have for the band, and whether it's I think it's Larry or somebody years ago said, oh my God, paraphrase, oh my God, it would be awful if everybody came to a show and all they did was and like I say, it's the different ways you can read the lyrics, listen to the music. Yeah, they're a rock and roll band, but they're this and that and that. And I'll never live down using Fleshbox in our presentation earlier today, but they have one. And, I love the fact that they're so fully human, I love that. So that's my 2 cents worth, and back on mute.
Mine aren't exactly the album, but the B-sides. I wish they had not done the covers of Painted Black and Fortunate Son. I think those are such iconoclastic songs that I've never heard anyone actually improve or make them as good as the originals, and I think it was a mistake to do those.
David, did you see the new Rolling Stone article where they talk about that?
Yep.
Where
Yep.
and I was
I wish
really
actually
hoping that Edge didn't like those either. But
I know I thought
Yes, he
exactly
did.
the same thing. I sort of had hoped that Andy Green would have asked about some of the other songs, you know, like Oberlin, or you know, some of the other things, Salome. But maybe he did talk about Salome. But
he actually
anyway,
did.
yeah. But I just remember even when I read that article and I saw those two songs mentioned, I was like, ah. And I it's not that I hate them doing covers. I love their cover of Dancing Barefoot. But generally, I think U2 is a poor covers band, and that's my piece, and that's my TED Talk. And
I totally agree. I think those are the two worst covers they've ever done. But
I think
that's
so
another
too.
story. That's for
Yeah.
We'll have another discussion about that. But I agree with you, David.
Yeah, we're not fans of those either.
Mm-mm.
Well, we have just like 3 more minutes. Does anyone else want to go real quick? That's okay. Oh, wait. Here's another thing from Avril. She said, yeah, as someone growing up in Ireland, I can say I tend to shy away from the religious side too, because there's too much religion going on here as it is. Man, that's a great point about them being fully human. I like that. Matt Nathanson talked about that today in his session. That was a great session. If y'all didn't go, look for the recording. It was really great. Lots of cursing. I really embraced that.
I do have a question though.
Yeah.
About that. I have noticed almost like and I know we are all divided on this, on religion. And as a believer, I've always wondered, like, U2 have always, they've never really shied away from it. Hey, spirituality is a huge part of what we do. And so is the flesh. But is the religiosity kind of a push-pull thing? Does religiosity give the band a lyrical and musical depth that maybe they wouldn't have without the religion, even if you aren't a believer? I'm just curious from a believer side of the point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's I mean, as a singer, if you don't believe what you're singing in, then what's the point?
Well, I mean, plenty of singers can do that. Bono just can't.
Yeah, Bono can't, but that's the pull.
Right.
Is that he fucking cares. And the band, they fucking care about what they're playing and what they're putting out. And I like that drew me in before I knew what any of the songs meant. I was hooked before I knew any of that stuff. So, and then I just had no choice. Hillary and I like to say that we did not have a choice to be U2 fans. Like they chose us. We didn't keep searching them out because, you know, I don't know, shits and kicks. It was this like gravitational pull towards their music. Sure. So that was just undeniable.
And I mean, the pull on my part, at least, was still fighting the religiousness of it. Like I was pushing back on that. I mean, it just because I don't understand it. It still makes for beautiful lyrics and great stories and heartfelt, meaningful songs.
Is another thing that we all take out of the songs what we require. So whatever Bono's putting in there, it's not for us to know why he's written it. It's for us to take out what we need. Is that not the whole? So whether you find a religious meaning or a sentiment or, you know, political view, it's not, you know, that's his gift to us, I suppose. That we can take 100%. What we want, as opposed to trying to find the meaning that he specifically said himself when he's written it, you know? Is that not?
100%. And the band says themselves that once they put the songs out there, they're ours.
Right. And also, I mean, how many times has Bono changed what he says a song is about? So, I mean, it's what you want it to be, not what, you know.
Right.
I agree with that, Mark. That was right on.
Awesome. Well, do we have anything else anyone wants to say or questions or anything before we have to
Yes,
sign off?
I do. I would love to say we sang.
Yeah,
Jen-
Johnny.
Hi, Johnny.
Jenny and Hillary, what a beautiful podcast you have. And thank you for that. It's very
Thank you.
insightful and it's very great. And
you.
you know what it is, you know, and I was listening to you in the last year or so, and especially during COVID and stuff. And I think, Hillary, you had a bit of COVID.
I had COVID, yeah.
How are you now, darling?
I'm okay. I'm not 100%, but I'm probably like 90% back to normal. I still have some issues, but
Sure.
it sucks. But I'm in good health now.
Good, because I was listening to it and I remember thinking with your podcast and how brilliant it was that you were not just encouraging people to do shit, you know, and you're coming up to the elections too. Black Lives Matter was happening, you had the riots, you had all sorts of stuff, you had the Trump thing going on, and not that anything is good or bad about any of that. The fact was that you were really putting some really interesting stuff out there to sort of say, go get shit done. And I want to thank you for that, you know, because we're over here on the Europe side and we're sort of looking at you as going like, what are you doing? So thank you. Thank you so much. Anyway, here's what the point is. Here's the question. Achtung baby has arrived. You end up in Ireland. You're drinking baby shorts, you know, which is like, what do you call that stuff?
Bailey's.
Bailey's, Kahlua, something. You're getting absolutely off your tits in the bar in Ireland. And I'm thinking, why are you doing that? You know, why are you doing that? Why are you absolutely doing that? Why are you sitting in the bar in Ireland going, wow, let's just get nuts and drink some baby.
Why not just drink Guinness and champagne?
Guinness and champagne. Drink
Oh, we do that too.
We did that too.
We do a lot of that.
Did that too.
Black velvet.
You're so fucking nuts. This is untrue. But however, I have something embarrassing to say. I know we're running out of time. I'll say this very quickly. I got a press pass for you to pop in Dublin. And there I am in is it Grayson Road, right? Grayson Road, right? I'm right there. And Bono walks 6 foot in front of me, and I have a big posh camera because I pretended to be a press photographer. And there I am in the front line, pushing the button, and he's looking at me. And I remember he looked at me and say, "If you want to take the fucking shot, you need to take it now." And I was pressed shot on the camera type thing. And it just didn't work. And he was looking at me as if to say, "You're such a letdown." And I remember thinking to myself, well, you know, whatever. I got the press pass. I got in for free, whatever. So that's my embarrassment. And people were sharing things among you tonight, but mine was like, well, your fucking camera shutter didn't even fucking click, did it? There you go. There you go. These things happen. And by the way, the next night, you know, well, not the next night, but during that night, I woke up my girlfriend at about 3-4 o'clock in the morning in one of the Julian Leon Hotel in Dublin, whatever. And I said to her, Princess Diana's dead. It's that sort of thing that just happened. Do you know what I mean? That time of year. So there you go, ladies. There you go. Ladies at Tarts. Thank you for what you do. I shall let you go.
Thank you for listening to us. And
yeah.
Thank you, everyone. This was so much fun.
So much fun.
So appreciate you.
And we appreciate you. And there's more sessions tomorrow, Angela? Or
no,
yeah.
We have one more session tonight.
And then that's it?
And then that's it. But of course, people can continue to hang out in Discord.
Yeah.
And feel free to do that and keep your eyes on the u2conference.com website for future events. I am sure you'll be hearing from us soon. One more time, everyone, round of applause, please, for Garden Tart Hillary and Garden Tart Jenny. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.
And
Come find us
definitely,
online.
reach out to us because we're
Yeah.
very,
Thank you so much.
very personal,
Yeah.
personable.
Find us on social media, _Garden Tarts everywhere. We love to chat.
Thank you guys. I'm gonna check out the
Yes.
blog or the podcast, definitely.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye,
Yeah.
everyone.
Bye.
Love you all.
Guys,
Hi,
thank
everyone.
you.
Bye, Tamara.